What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. I have another very special boot review. It is number 2 of 6 of the special edition F50 remakes. Alright guys, so for this video I am going to review the EA Sports version of the F50 Adizero remake. This is the Adizero 1 from the 2010 generation where they wore that for the World Cup. And it's got obviously the Speed Flow sole plate instead of the sprint frame, which was on the original Adizero, but these are absolutely fantastic and they're black and gold, one of my favorite color combinations. So this is going to be a really exciting boot to unbox and to show you guys, and then of course I will try it on feet, and then we're going to hop into an on-field portion of the video. Those two for this video will be combined because I'm in the process of moving houses, and it's going to be much easier for me to just go on field and I'll tell you guys how they fit, give you guys some up-close views of what the boots actually feel like when they're brand new, and then of course we'll do some ball skills and stuff to show you what the touch is like, and if they, and kind of answer the question, will they hold up compared to modern boots of today? So let's hop into the unboxing. A very cool box with the EA Sports logo on it. You've got Adidas on the one side, there's your logo, so it's an F50 Ghosted Adizero is what they call it, and it's the black, white, and gold version over here in the US 9, which is my normal size, and UK 8.5. This for some people is a little bit confusing. Nike sizes are an entire size down for UK. Adidas sizes is only a half size. So if you're a US 9, you're UK 8.5 in Adidas boots. You've got the Adidas there, and of course the Adidas and EA Sports logo on that other side. And it is a drawer style box. You do get this special drawer style with all of them, I believe, because they are all special edition ones and considered the Plus model. So here we go. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so these, wow, these are stunning. So this is an ombre gold to white sole plate with the carbon fiber. This is the same speed frame that's on the X Ghosteds and the X Speed Flow generation, but this has the Adizero 1 upper from 2010. So everything above the sole plate is all that same material. It's built the same way. The shape is the same. Goodness, these are so nice. You've got the 3-stripe pattern right here for the Adidas, the Adizero logo, and then the gold stripe that goes along the entire lateral side all the way into the medial side, which is a cool detail. The Adidas logo here, and then of course your F50 right there. You might recognize this boot worn by Messi, David Villa. David Villa actually wore the black and yellow version of these in the World Cup, along with several other of the Adidas players. Messi wore a special edition chameleon version that had a purple look to them, but in certain lightings they looked a little bit green. So those were also super cool. But this upper is a little bit plasticky feeling out of the box. It definitely is not as plush as some of the newer versions that are knit, or even the synthetic material from the brand new Speed Flows that I like to wear the laceless model of, but these definitely have a little bit of pliability. They are really soft and they are mega light, super, super lightweight. They were the lightest boots by far in when they came out in 2010. They absolutely blew the Superfly 2 or 3, I believe at the time it was. They absolutely blew those away. They weighed in at 5.7 ounces or 5.8 ounces, so just under for a standard size. So size 9 US was about 5.8 ounces, which was just crazy for the time. So let's get these out of the box. And these are from Bootsatelli. So this is an Instagram dealer who I got them from. There's that QR code. Pause the video, take a photo of it, and go check out his stock. Super, super cool stuff. So thank you to Bootsatelli for providing these boots for me. So there you go. We'll get these out of the way. And I'll get this set up so you guys can see. There we go. Okay. All right. So these are the boots in hand, and I think these look absolutely stunning. You guys have hopefully seen the Tauti review, and those are black leather with a silver accent, metallic silver, and I think black and gold looks equally as beautiful. Gold, to me, I long time ago wore the Neymar Special Edition Hypervenom 1s, and those were really cool. They were very out there. I prefer, I think, more subtle boots with gold accents is totally fine, but those are super awesome. So I'm gonna take out some of this of the paper and show you guys actually how soft these are for a synthetic that when you look at it first and when you really kind of feel around the boot, it does feel really plasticky, but as you can see from some of the up close, and you can hear, if you hopefully you can hear this, it does definitely have this plasticky sensation to it, but it is really soft and really pliable. This generation, when it came out, was really surprising because it had an internal cage that almost acted like the Flywire from Nike. So they didn't copy the actual wiring system, if you will, from the Superfly 2 or 3, I believe, from that World Cup era. But what they did do was they put this internal cage, which you can see it's the white in there, and there you go. That's a good view of it. So there's that white internal cage, and what that internal cage does is it's connected to the lace holes. So when you pull the laces tight, it really wraps your foot and gives you good lateral stability with these. I have yet to actually try these on period, but also on pitch. And I'm really curious to see if this old upper actually holds up to the modern standard. Because right now we have a laced and laceless speed flow. I don't think this material would be good for a laceless boot because they'd have to figure out how to do the lacing system. But this boot definitely could compare, if it's good, to the speed flow. And it's an interesting question of, is this a boot and is the speed flow a better objective performing boot than this, or is it simply change for the sake of change? And that's something that we talk about in the boot community and as players all the time. I wear Hypervenom 3s, those are my favorite boot of all time, but I also am a huge fan of the 2014 Adizero, which you guys have seen the review of. Those are absolutely beautiful boots and they're so comfortable, they're super snug, that hybrid touch upper is amazing. And I've actually never tried this particular pair on in the original variation. So it's gonna feel roughly the same, except underfoot it'll probably feel a little bit different because you do have a much more structured sole plate, whereas the originals had a speed for like Gen 1 of speed frame, which was a much simpler, and it was all triangular studs. So that one was a little bit more flimsy and potentially less responsive, even if it did give you a lot of lateral stability and the like. So a couple other details that I think about this boot are super cool. Of course, it has the sticker on here that says the outsole coating on the bottom of the shoe will potentially wear off during play, but will not affect the performance of this product. You can expect that on pretty much every boot from now on, just because if it has any sort of metallic-y finish like this one does, they always have to put a disclaimer, because even in the box, they get little scuff marks. I've got, you know, little scuff marks on the heel and stuff, which, by the way, doesn't bother me at all, because it's not going to affect the performance of this boot as the sticker so eloquently describes, but it definitely does protect Adidas and protect the companies from people suing them over things like this, which just is unbelievable to me. The width of this boot is going to be probably very similar to a Speedflow, my guess, and that's all because of the way that they've structured the last. This looks actually a little bit wider. If you can tell, it's a little bit flatter here instead of being more bulbous on the forefoot, and then it comes thinner like a lot of modern speed boots do. It'll be thinner in here, but this actually has quite a bit of width, as I'm seeing on this lateral part of the shoe. The medial side of the shoe definitely has a little bit of extra material, so that's kind of interesting. So I am curious to see how these fit and feel. If they are a boot that fit really well, I'm super keen to wear these in practices and in games. I've already worn the World Cup 2014 World Cup Adizero remakes in training, and they were absolutely wonderful. They were so good, so comfortable, wrapped my foot so well, and really gave me a good one-to-one feel with the ball. Great shooting, great control of the ball, etc. So these feel even a little bit thinner than those ones do, and my guess is that these will fit hopefully really well and have no weird hot spots or anything. The one thing that I am a little bit concerned about is because of the way that this upper is structured, right? So it's a little bit more on the plasticky side. It's just a straight synthetic upper. The one thing that I am curious about is, you guys know on the side of my heel, right in this area of the boot, right here, I often get a little bit of bending like that. And so I can always stick a finger or two in that side area, and that's sort of a pet peeve of mine. And because this upper is not stretchy like a knit material is, I imagine that there could be, again, we'll have to see when I try them on later in the video, but if this collar part wraps my foot and my ankle properly, this could be a boot that I frequent in trainings and in games, which is super, super cool. So that's something that I enjoy about these boots a lot. I think it's super, super cool. Again, thanks to Bootsatelli for providing these boots. I am so stoked to be able to get the second of 6 remakes in my hands and to actually be able to play with them and see what they feel like and get a little bit of a sense of what playing in the 2014 F50s was like, or 2010, excuse me, F50s was like, and having a 12-year-old upper with the modern sole plate, again, raises the question, are we changing boots for the sake of change, or are we actually making them better? So maybe doing a comparison between these and the Speed Flows would be pretty spectacular. So stay tuned for that. In the on-feet portion of the video, I'll talk a little bit about what I think is a better fitting shoe. But other than that, as far as tech specs goes, these are very, very simple. It's just the old upper slapped on the brand new sole plate. I love this sole plate. I really hope with the new version of the Speed Flow, I think they're called the Speed Portals, the new Speed Portals, I hope they keep a similar idea with this sole plate, because I do really like it. I think it does a great job of giving you lots of energy return, and it really does provide a solid sole plate that both has your lateral stability covered and your forward acceleration covered as well. So that's something that I hope they keep. But again, having a remake like this, I think is absolutely brilliant. Adidas, thank you so much for doing this stuff, because Nike and Puma don't do it as much. I know Nike has some remakes, they've done some things, but not like Adidas has done. I think Adidas has absolutely killed it with all of their F50 remakes. A lot of them are sold out, you can't find them anywhere. I think my grail shoe out of that entire list is probably either the ones that I have, those black and white ones, or it's the Unisport variation, which was mismatching Adizero light, I think the extra light ones or the super light ones. Those ones are amazing, and I would love to get my hands on a pair of those, but I couldn't find them anywhere. So these are the next best thing. It's the same upper and stuff. Really looking forward to trying these on feet. So without further ado, let's hop into the on feet portion of the video, and I'll show you guys what these feel like on feet, and of course what the touch is like and how the sizing is. All right, fam, so I have these wonderful original F50 ones out here at the stadium. So this is in Rochester, New York. If the announcement isn't out already, I have joined a new team. That will be either announced soon or it will be announced in the vlog just prior to this. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm very excited for my new team, and we have a beautiful stadium behind the camera that you guys will see in plenty of videos moving forward. So without further ado, guys, let's get these on feet and kind of get a sense of what they feel like. The sole plate is going to be nothing that we haven't seen before, right? So these are on the Ghosteds and the Speed Flows. It's the same sole plate. So underfoot should feel roughly the same, but I am very curious to know, as I mentioned before, how this kind of plasticky collar situation actually works with my foot, whether or not I fit in them, and whether or not there's going to be like an awkward gap on the outside of my ankle, which you guys know I don't really like that much. So let's get into the on-feet portion. I'm just going to throw these on. I've got, as I said before, Zypher grip socks. So I'm wearing my Zypher normal socks without the grip, which I absolutely love. 10% in the link in the description if you use code BEAWESOME, or through the link that I'll put down there. So definitely go check it out. They've got awesome stuff, and I love wearing their socks. I wear them for training every day. Here we go. All right, so F50s, we'll get those on feet right away. And the upper is so thin. Oh, wow, okay. I was not expecting how comfortable these are. This is pretty special. It definitely is more plasticky than the Speed Flows or even that hybrid touch upper, but I am super impressed with how well these fit right out of the box. We'll tie these as if I'm jumping into a training session. I mean, width is perfectly adequate. My toe is right there at the end. And wow, interesting. Okay, so there's really no space on this outside. That's pretty special. Dang, those are awesome. Those feel incredible. Okay, moving to the second one. Here we are. So something to keep in mind about this one is this upper is 12 years old now. 12 years old. That's a lot of generations of F50s that have happened and evolved since then. You could consider the speed flows to be just the next generation of F50s. Obviously, they've discontinued the F50 name, but it's no stretch to see the similarities between these ones and one of their other boots. So there they are on feet. I'll give you a little spin, get the shoes out of the way, and my goodness, guys, these are super, super comfortable. Like, I'm very impressed. They are a little plasticky, I'll give you that. And yes, massive hole in my sock. I've been using these like crazy. And yeah, they are a little bit plasticky, but I definitely don't get the sense that these would be super uncomfortable. I'm gonna grab a ball super fast, so I'll get that here and touch on the ball. So thin, so barefoot. I can see why these F50s would be one of people's favorites of all time. I really do think the touch on the ball is super unique. It's so thin. It reminds me a lot of those really early Vapors that like Superfly 2 or 3, but even thinner than that. So at the time, compared to Superfly 2 and 3, and maybe even, yeah, Superfly 2 or 3, I think, these took the weight to a whole different level. As I mentioned before in the unboxing portion, they were about 5.8 ounces, so they were much lighter than the Nike boot at the time. And of course, Nike had been absolutely crushing the speed boot industry. And when Adidas moved from the Tune-It variation of these to these ones, everyone went crazy because these were absolutely one of, if not the best speed boots at the time. They were so light, they were so thin, the upper was just absolutely sensational. And I will say, with this Carbotex insert, it makes these a very, very interesting pick for game days and training days. So I actually have I'm filming this prior to my training session in a couple hours, and I will say these boots definitely could be a boot that I wear in training and in games. They're really responsive. I can feel that internal cage, that white internal cage that I talked about earlier, really wrapping my foot properly, which is a super interesting thing. They've got a little bit more structure, I think, than the current Speedflow 0.1s, so comparing laced boot to laced boot. And at the end of the day, it's kind of up to your own personal preference if you can get your hands on a pair of these, but I genuinely think these are one of the most crazy feeling boots with how responsive the upper is and with how responsive the sole plate is, with it being the Carbotex insert. So these, for me, are a really, really interesting pick for potentially a game day boot, potentially a training day boot, well, for sure a training day boot, potentially a game day boot. I'm very excited. On the artificial turf, this is, of course, the FG variation with the Carbotex insert. I would say it's definitely got a lot of grip, but it doesn't feel too grippy. It doesn't feel like I can't have any pivot power. It does stop a little bit, so I would recommend maybe trying the AG models. Obviously, you're not going to find an AG model with this upper because they were only made with the Carbotex insert, but what I would say is if you are interested in a Speedflow or something and you predominantly play on AG, I love my AG Speedflow Pluses. They are absolutely incredible. The sole plate is really responsive and it's awesome despite it not being Carbotex. So that's what I would recommend. But if you're on the market for something special edition like these, you want something that's a little more flashy with the gold heel, obviously with the OG F50 upper, these are definitely one to check out. I would totally recommend getting a pair of these because they are really, really super awesome. And I know that's a lot of words that I've just added to that sentence, but these are so comfortable. I'm not getting any hot spots at all, which for a wide-footed player like myself and a speed boot, that's pretty crazy. So I'd recommend, honestly, these probably will fit most foot types. Just go true to size. And you might feel like there's a little bit of volume in the toe area where you can wiggle your toes a little bit, but lengthwise, they're absolutely perfect. So that's something to keep in mind. Lengthwise, my toes right there on the end. That is an absolutely perfect fit. As you can see, I can wiggle my toes plenty well. It's a super thin upper. They look absolutely brilliant with the white socks, and with a black kit like this, I think it's such a cool accent with the gold in the heel. And the heel lockdown's really good. I imagine with my Zypher grip socks, it'll be even more crazy of a lockdown situation, and I'm really excited. They just feel like so one-to-one with the ball. I just really love these shoes. I think these are awesome, and I'm definitely going to be wearing these for training sessions coming up. Maybe even today. Think about it. Maybe even today. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys do appreciate the more retro or limited edition boots, definitely support this video with a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.